welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can tell by the title, we have something serious to talk about. Well, I have something serious to talk about with you guys in regards to something that was insane that happened to my son yesterday. This is very recent. Today is July 21st. Yesterday was obviously July 20th, 2021. And there was an altercation, not an altercation, but there was a situation that happened with my 12-year-old son and this older white lady, okay? Now, typically, thank you guys so much for coming back to my channel. I appreciate you guys. I was going to do this on a Facebook Live, but I was like, you know what, this would be a better, first of all, a bigger platform and better content to put on this channel, because like I said, this is real life. This channel over here is real life for me. This is what I go through my day-to-day with my kids, myself, or whatever, as a mom, you know, all that. So we, you know, we'll talk about all those different type of things. So with that being said, yesterday my son was outside and it was about maybe 8 o'clock. He came in the house about maybe between 8:15 and 8:30. He came in the house and I was on my break from work and I was about to give my daughter a bath, and my son came in the house, right? And my son, you know, as any parent, you know when there's something wrong with your child, right? You know there's something wrong with them. You know that as their parent, you know that. So I was like, Josiah, you know, what's wrong? And he was like, nothing. You know, my son is a very shy, very timid, you know, kid. He's very nice, you know, he's sweet. He don't want to hurt nobody. You know, that's not my son, right? So he doesn't like altercations. He doesn't like issues. He doesn't like that stuff. So I was like, what's wrong? He's like, nothing. And I'm like, Josiah, what's wrong? And so he started, you know, kind of breathing heavily, like he was panicking, and started to, you know, shed a tear. I'm like, whoa, what is wrong? Did somebody touch you? He's like, no, it was an altercation. I'm like, what? So he was trying to explain to me, you know, my kid is one of those where they kind of beat around the bush and not get straight to the point. So you kind of got to stop them and dissect the story, right, to get to the issue. So basically, make a long story short, my son was he was outside with his friends, right? And I guess he was having a conversation with one of his female friends, who's an 8-year-old girl. Mind you, my son is 12, okay? My son, now I'm gonna give you the description of my son. I'm gonna also post a picture right here. My son is 12 years old. He may not look like a 12-year-old because my son he has a nice build to him. He's tall, he's dark skinned, he a little solid, you know, he got big feet. You know, he's not an average looking 12-year-old. No kid is nowadays in 2021, right? They just don't look like they used to, okay? His mom is a heavy-set woman. His dad is, you know, was a football type of player, type build. He's not now, but, you know, he has big features. Of course, my camera's gonna go dead. So I'm gonna try to hurry up and finish this as much as I can. Ugh, my stupid camera. But anyway, so my son was outside playing, right, with this 8-year-old girl. She's a little small little girl, but she's one of those little small little sassy girls, right? From what my son has told me or whatever, right? And so, hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Well, not welcome back, but this is an extension. I've been trying to record this video or finish recording this video for the last couple days now. This is a whole new day, as you guys can see. My camera, my battery died. And so I haven't really had the time to finish this video before working and all that stuff. So I am off today. It's actually been like maybe 3 days since the last clip that you've seen. So I'm off today or whatever. So I'm gonna try to finish this video actually while my son is getting his haircut. But yeah, so anyway, I don't even know where I left off at, but I know I didn't get that much deep into the story, but let me just go ahead and finish off what I was saying. But basically, I believe what I was saying was getting the story kind of prepped. My son came home. He was hysterically crying. He was outside playing with his friends, in particular this little girl who was like a little sassy little mouth girl. She was 8 years old, but she had a little attitude with her. They were outside talking, and so I guess apparently my son and her were outside talking loudly, and we live in a big complex area, and so they were in the inner portion of the complex where a lot of the sound and stuff kind of bounces off of the apartments or whatever. And so I guess they got loud, and in particular my son kind of got loud fussing with the little girl. So my son came in and I'm like, you know, what happened? He was crying or what. I said, calm down, you know, tell me what happened. He's telling me he was arguing with the little girl or whatever because the little girl said she don't like him, whatever. And he was asking her, why don't you like me, yada, yada, yada. And I guess he got irritated and upset and I guess was yelling at her like, well, why do you don't like me, you know? Anyway, so there was a lady that came out of her balcony this is what my son told me. The lady came out on her balcony, and she said, you know, I don't mean to interrupt or whatever, but if you guys can't, if you can't go to her house or speak, you know, softly or whatever like that, I think she said I'm gonna have to call the police. And then from that tone, it escalated to her basically being disrespectful and was like, no, stop talking. What? You want me to call the police? Is that what you said? And she was being very rude to my son. My son, and I think I said this in the last clip, my son is 12 years old. My son, he doesn't look like the average 12-year-old. He is a tall, you know, kind of thick, solid type of boy. And he may not look like a 12-year-old, right? But my son is always outside playing with the same people, okay? And for you to insist on, she was a white woman, she was an older white woman. I want to say she was maybe in her middle 40s, and she was a white woman. She came on her balcony and said that. Now, here's my problem. I don't mind you asking my child to maybe calm down and be quiet, because there are other kids that are outside playing that, you know, I may ask to calm down, or, you know, if you guys can, you know, lower the volume or whatever. I don't mind that, because if a kid is getting loud, you can say that, but you also have to be respectful because you're talking to somebody else's child, right? And if that child is not doing what you request, then you ask the child, hey, you know, I would like to speak to your parent. You know, is your mom home, your dad home, or whatever, right? No, this Karen, and yeah, I want to say a Karen because I am not the type to automatically assume that all white people are bad, all white people are racist, all white women are Karens, all white, you know, men are racist to our black men. I'm not that type, right? You have to give me a reason for me to think that you are that way. Otherwise, I do feel like there are nice women white women out there. There are nice white cops, and there are nice white people out there that are respectful, that are not racist, right? But let me dissect the situation for you. My question, my issue, well, let me finish telling you the story as I dissect it for you. So my son, he said he was like literally paralyzed. He didn't know what to say to her. He didn't know what to say. He didn't know how to respond. He was paralyzed. So the impression that you gave my son, you scared him, number one. It was no typical asking, hey, can you guys calm down? Whatever you said to him put fear into him that you were going to call the cops. And my son literally thought the cops were going to come and do something to him because of what's going on in social media and what's going on around the world, right? I'm sure she is not, unless this heifer is living under a rock, I'm sure she knows what's going on in the world. And for you to threaten to call the police on a young black boy in today's society, you don't think that was a bit much? So my son was crying. He was telling me the story. I said, oh, hell no. So I got my shoes. I went outside, and one of his other friends, she was on her balcony, so she was telling me what was going on. So I went up to the lady's door. I sure did. I went up to the lady's door respectfully. I was not going there to cause any issues or anything like that, but I wanted to know what was going on and what she said to my son. I wanted to hear from her. As soon as I opened the door, as soon as I knocked on the door and she opened the door, I couldn't even get a greeting in to say, hi, my name is. As soon as she opened the door, you need to leave. So that lets me know, first and foremost, you knew you was wrong. You knew what it was about to be. Somebody opens the door and say you need to leave. You don't even know who's at your door. You don't know who it is. You didn't even give me a chance to say, hi, my name is. So automatically, you knew, it must be his mama. It must be it. Yeah, it is his mama. Yeah, you knew you was wrong because you about to be approached. So I said, that's fine. Did you say something to my son? She said, yeah. He was, and she just kept emphasizing, he was down there screaming at this little girl. She was so little, and he was just screaming at her, and I couldn't hear my TV. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, did you call the cop? Did you tell my son you were gonna call the cop? Yeah, I did, because I have a right to do that because I live here. And she admitted, I didn't know how old he was at the time. Okay, so that's another thing. You didn't even know how old my son was. Did you bother to ask him? Number one. Number two, she kept emphasizing that he was just screaming at this girl. First of all, that's a friend that he talks to or that he plays with, that he's seen outside with all the time. Okay, number three, the first thing you choose to say and do is not, I'm going to call the property manager, I'm going to call the complex management. You said want to call the cops on a 12-year-old boy because he's making noise? How does that add up? How do you call the cops because kids are outside playing, making noise? The cops. Instead of saying, oh, I'm gonna call, I'm gonna call management in the morning or something like that, you think it's appropriate to call the police on a 12-year-old black boy in today's society. And what also let me know that she was on some stuff was, when I say on some stuff, that lets me know she was on some Karen type of stuff. Because like I said, she kept emphasizing that the little girl was little. So you thought my son was an older boy. This is what I feel. You thought because she kept saying she was just so little. So you thought this was a grown-ass man arguing with a little girl. And you felt that was justifiable enough to call the cops. Instead of asking, hey, how old are you? Are you guys friends? You shouldn't talk to a girl like that. Instead of trying to be nice and maybe educate my son to say, hey, that's not nice. You shouldn't talk to her like that. You threatened to call the cops on him. So at the door, so I was calm, I was polite, I wasn't rude, I wasn't disrespectful. I said, so do you think that maybe it was appropriate to ask maybe where's his mom, to speak to his mom rather than call the cops on him? Well, I guess I could have, but I have a right to because I live here. I'm the only one that live here. Excuse my language, but you're not the only one that live here and pay rent. So I don't want to hear that. So, I was in the midst of talking, and then she was like, well, and she said, and if it's still a problem, then I can call management and let them know. I said, you can call management and let them know. I can call them myself and let them know. And then she slammed the door. And so I knocked on the door. She didn't answer. I said, okay, that's fine. I'll call management myself. And I took a picture of her apartment number. And I also I emailed the complex that night, actually. And so I came downstairs or whatever, and there was another lady that was outside walking her dog. She was a really, really nice lady, and she gave me a lot of information. She let me know, which is why I felt like it proves my point that this lady was trying to be on some Karen type of stuff. The other lady even told me, she said, your son didn't do anything wrong. The little girl, she was feisty, and she was yelling at him, and he was trying to walk away from the situation, and the little girl was like, hey, come back, where you going? She was like, your son was trying to do the right thing and get away from her, because he was like, well, why would I stay here if you don't like me? And he was trying to walk away. And I was like, thank you for that information. And I told her, I said, if my son was loud, I don't mind someone telling my son, hey, do you mind being quiet? But I said this to that lady. I said, but in today's society, you threatened to call the police on a young black boy? And the lady agreed. She said, yeah, you're right. She said, yeah, that's not right. She shouldn't have done that. She said she didn't hear all of what the older lady said to my son, but she did hear the kids. She said she tuned the kids out, but then I guess she started noticing things kind of got a little riled up, and so she kind of started paying more attention. But she said she seen that my son was trying to defuse the situation by walking away. And so my son came home. He was so hysterical. He was crying. He was nervous. He literally thought, like, the idea that the cops was gonna pull up in their squad cars and do something to him. He is 12. This is how much of what's going on in society and in this world and what's being done to our black men is affecting our black children, in specific our black men, kids. My child was traumatized. The cops never came. She never called the cops. But just the thought, he was so afraid. You knew you were antagonizing him, and you knew what you was doing to my son, and you were scaring him. I was so pissed when we got home and he calmed down. I told him, and I even cried. I cried because I cried because my son was scared. You know, as a parent, when your son is hysterical, your son is, or you know, son or daughter is crying, is upset, you know, it upsets you as the parent. And I was really pissed off. I was really irritated because my son is now scared and he doesn't know what to do. So I had to, you know, let my son know, first and foremost, nothing's gonna happen to you. I will listen. Man, woman, child, cop, firefighter, I don't care. I would never allow anything to happen to my kids over my dead body. Nothing's gonna happen to you. And I said, number two, don't let what happened tonight make you feel like you can't do anything in this world, or you have to walk around with your head held, you know, with your head down. Our ancestors fought too hard and too long and are still fighting to this day. Not our ancestors, but you know, we are still fighting for justice and equality in this world. Don't you dare let that lady make you feel like you can't do what you need to do, or do what you're supposed to do, or you have no right to be here, because she was an ignorant ass. And I told my son, you still stand proud, you still gonna go outside. And I did let him know, you may not should have made, however much noise you were making, you should not have made that much noise. But it still does not justify that woman being an ass to you and threatening to call the cops on you. Period. So my son, you know, he calmed down, he got over it. I calmed down and I got over it. Nothing ended up happening. The management, I did email them that night to let them know everything that happened. They never wrote me back yet or whatever. But it really, you know, I'm not one of those people that feel like, oh my God, like that could never happen to me. But, and I've never came in contact with anything like this, right? Of course, I see it in social media. I see it on the news. I may even know someone that knows someone that, you know, went through a situation or whatever. But it's different when it happens to you. And I'm not saying that I was above it where I felt like this could never happen to me or my kids. But it was just like, when it happened, it was like, man, it really is people out here like this. Now, some people may feel like she wasn't a Karen. Some people may feel like she was just, I don't give a shit. And excuse my language in this video, but you can't tell me otherwise. There's no reason for you to threaten to call the police because kids are making noise. You live in a complex. You call your property manager, not the police. The police ain't gonna do nothing but say, hey, can you guys tune it down? What, they gonna take him to jail for making noise? My issue is you were so quick to call the police. It never dawned on you to call. Now when I come to your door, now you want to get the property managers involved. But you should have said that from the beginning. You should have said that and said, I want to call the property manager from the beginning, not the cops. Like, do you not see what's going on? Well, clearly she don't care, because that's not going to affect her. She doesn't have a black child. She doesn't have a black, you know, son or whatever, or daughter. If she did, that wouldn't have came out of her mouth. So I know she don't. But it just really opened, I mean, my eyes were open, but it just really confirmed that you have some ridiculous people in this world that are just and I'm sorry, excuse me for my language, but that's my child. And nobody's gonna punk or scare my kids at all. They have a strong mother, okay? People may laugh and you know, I crack jokes about, you know, me, you know, being tough or whatever, but I'm not playing. I've always been, you can ask my mom. My mom know, you know, she called me the fighter or whatever of the group of the kids, or, you know, who don't take no BS. I am. I'm not a fighter. I don't particularly like to sit there and fight. But one thing you will always know about me, Simone, is that she will not back down. I don't care who you are. I don't care what position you are, man, woman, or child. I don't care, cops, firefighters, judges. I don't care. If you do wrong to me, I'm gonna stand up for myself. And I always instill that in my kids. You stand up for yourself. I don't care. Now, I do teach my son, because of what's going on in this world, that how to act, how to address cops and things. Like, of course, I tell them to be respectful. Your job at the end of the day is to make sure that you come home alive. So we've had that conversation of how you're supposed to act if you ever do come in contact with the cops. There go my son right now. So yeah, we've had that conversation.
How with you?
I'm vlogging. You like your hair?
Yeah, you sound mad.
I was talking about, look, as the camera turns. There he goes, guys. He's okay. I'm talking about the situation with that lady that was gonna call the cops on you.
Oh, yeah.
How do you feel?
I don't really care about it anymore. I just moved on.
But yeah, so I of course taught my son how to act, you know, in those situations, you know, how to address the cop. Just, you know, keep quiet, do whatever it is that he's asking you to do, because your job at the end of the day is to make it home. But you know, I teach my kids to stand strong in how they feel and what they feel, and don't let these people back down. That lady wanted to scare you. That lady wanted to intimidate you, and that's not gonna happen. Over my dead body, my kids will never be intimidated. As long as they have a strong black mother, they will never feel intimidated of anybody in this world but God. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know, that was my story time. That night was crazy. Like, we're good now, but it was just like, oh, I was so irritated. I was just so pissed. But, so, you guys, if anybody else experienced this, let me know. But you guys, just stay strong. They're not gonna punk us. We've came too far, as African Americans in the black community. We have came too far to be punked. We have came too far to have them make us feel like we need to walk with our head down or threaten us with the cops because of what's going on. I don't care what's going on. I'm still not gonna be scared. I don't care. I mean, I care what's going on, but don't think that, okay, so what's going on in the world? Black folks, they now gonna respect us. They now gonna, do as we say. No, we not. We still gon' what's up? Like, no, that's not what's going on in this world. We not finna do that. Just because we get cops out here who's doing illegal things to our black men, you think we still finna be scared? No, we still finna stand up to you and do what's right. Period. Anyway, let me go ahead and go. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I appreciate you guys coming back to our channel. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell me your stories. Tell me your thoughts. Whatever you feel from the story. If you have your own story, share it. But I just want to let you guys know that. And I guess I'll catch you guys on another vlog. Bye.